ETFs are one of Australia's favourite investments. In 2025 alone, over $48 billion flowed into them, roughly $1,700 for every Aussie adult. But what surprised me the most is that most of this money went into just a handful of funds. In this video, I'll show you 12 ETFs attracting the most money right now, what they invest in, and why investors keep piling into them. And the number one ETF wasn't what I expected. ETFs have quietly become one of the biggest investments for everyday Aussies. More and more people are moving away from picking individual stocks and are instead choosing simple, low-cost index funds that track the entire market. It's part of a broader shift towards passive investing. Instead of trying to beat the market, investors are happy to simply track it. We want to invest. We know it's important, but we just don't have the time. ETFs also make diversification incredibly easy. With a simple investment, you can own hundreds or even thousands of companies. But what's really interesting is where investors are actually putting their money. I jumped onto the ASX website and pulled the latest data showing exactly which funds attracted the most investment last year. So let's jump straight into the list, starting with the 12th most popular ETF, VANEC Australian Subordinated Debt, ticker SUBD. This ETF gives investors exposure to a portfolio of subordinated bonds issued by major Australian banks, insurers, and the like. Because these bonds sit lower in a bank's capital structure than traditional bonds, investors receive a higher yield to compensate for the additional risk. So instead of owning shares, you are basically lending money to these companies. In exchange, they pay you interest. In January 2026, the ETF attracted $76 million in inflows. The fund charges investors 29 basis points a year in management fees, translating to $29 a year on a $10,000 investment. The fund has a total $3.5 billion invested, and it pays dividends monthly. According to Investing Pro, this came to around 11 cents a month, giving this ETF a healthy dividend yield of 5.2%. As you can see, the fund largely holds debt from ANZ, CommBank, NAB, and Westpac, with a wee bit of HSBC and Macquarie in there too. These are all Main Street names in Australian banking. So this ETF has been an attractive option for income-focused investors, and with likely higher rates on the horizon, many will be looking to the future income potential as well. When I start to research investment options, one of my favorite places to start is Investing Pro. It's a powerful tool from investing.com that helps you discover new investment ideas and analyze companies with real, up-to-date financial data. It's designed for everyday investors who want to make smarter, more confident choices in the market. I spent 4 years studying finance, and even then, Investing Pro makes it so much easier to find opportunities. When I start researching ETFs, I use Investing Pro's screener to narrow things down quickly, like finding Aussie dividend ETFs paying over 5%. And whenever I'm not too sure what to dig into next, I ask Warren AI. It often surfaces insights I wouldn't have spotted on my own. So it's a powerful tool for research, exploration, or even just as a financial sidekick to double-check my work. So if you're serious about making smarter, data-driven investment decisions, now's your chance. Investing Pro is 55% off plus an extra 15% off with my code Brent. This flash sale is live right now, but only for a short time. Check the link in the video description or scan the QR code on screen to lock in your discount and start finding investment opportunities today. Now jumping into the 11th most popular ETF in Australia, iShares Core ASX 200 ETF. Ticker IOZ. This ETF gives investors exposure to the 200 largest companies listed on the Australian stock market, effectively tracking the performance of the broader Australian economy. Instead of trying to pick individual stocks, investors are effectively getting exposure to Aussie's largest companies in mining, banking, healthcare, retail, and so on from a single investment. In January 2026, the ETF attracted $78 million in inflows, showing that it remains one of the most popular ways for Aussies to gain broad exposure to the local market. The fund charges investors just 5 basis points per year in management fees, translating to about $5 annually on a $10,000 investment. This makes it one of the cheapest ways to invest in Aussie shares. IOZ currently manages $8 billion, making it Australia's 5th largest fund overall. On the dividend side, the fund pays quarterly dividends, translating to a yield of around 3%. For investors looking for a low-cost, diversified exposure to Australian shares, IOZ has become a simple and widely used option. The 10th most popular ETF is BetaShares Australian High Interest Cash ETF, ticker AAA. This ETF gives investors exposure to high-interest cash and short-term bank deposits, rather than shares or bonds. To simplify, it basically holds a bunch of high-interest savings accounts with within the ETF. The fund invests in deposits and short-dated securities issued by major Australian banks, meaning the risk profile is generally much lower than stock market ETFs. Instead of capital growth, the goal here is keeping your money safe and providing a steady income. Investors receive the interest generated from these deposits. In January 2026, the ETF attracted roughly $92 million in inflows, showing continued demand for safer income-focused investments, especially with an outlook of higher rates coming. The fund charges investors 18 basis points per year in management fees, which works out to $18 annually on a $10,000 investment. AAA has grown significantly in recent years, now with just under $5 billion invested. The fund pays dividends monthly, and because it holds cash-like instruments, the yield tends to move with interest rates. Recently, the fund has offered a yield of roughly 3.9%, but this can vary depending on rates offered at the time. This makes AAA a popular option for investors looking to park money, reduce portfolio volatility, or earn income without taking on stock market risk. Up ninth, we have another interest-bearing fund, Vanguard Australian Fixed Interest Index ETF, ticker VAF. This ETF gives investors exposure to a broad portfolio of Australian government and corporate bonds. Effectively, investors are lending money to governments, banks, and large companies in exchange for interest payments. AAA, the fund we just looked at, is different because there your money is sitting in a savings account, whereas here you're lending through bonds. But the similarity is that the fund is still earning interest. This fund tracks the Bloomberg Australian Bond Composite Index, which includes hundreds of investment-grade bonds across the Australian market. In January 2026, the ETF attracted $94 million in inflows. The fund charges investors 10 basis points per year in management fees, translating to about $10 annually on a $10,000 investment. VAF manages over $3 billion in assets and pays quarterly dividends from the interest earned from the underlying bonds. The yield changes with interest rates, but has recently been around 2%. The eighth most popular ETF is our first global fund, Vanguard's All-World ex-US Shares Index, ticker VEU. This ETF gives investors exposure to a broad portfolio of international shares outside the US, covering companies in Europe, Asia, Africa, everywhere else. Depending on your broker, it can be challenging to individually purchase foreign shares outside the US. VEU makes this easy, with investors effectively purchasing a slice of thousands of companies around the world in a single investment. The top holdings include popular names like Taiwan Semiconductor, Samsung, Tencent, and Alibaba, among many others. In January 2026, the ETF attracted $107 million in inflows from investors looking to gain exposure to non-United States companies. The fund charges investors 4 basis points per year in management fees, translating to about $4 annually on a $10,000 investment. VEU manages $5.3 billion in assets and pays quarterly dividends, equating to around 2% yield a year. Because the ETF invests across many different countries and currencies, returns can be influenced not only by their performance, but also by exchange rates. So for investors looking to build a globally diversified portfolio, VEU has become a simple way to gain exposure to international markets outside the United States. In seventh spot is a bit of a surprising one, Global X Copper Miners ETF, ticker WIRE. This ETF gives investors exposure to companies from around the world mining copper. So the fund isn't investing in copper itself, rather it's investing in the companies that dig it out of the ground and market it. Because copper is a key material used in infrastructure, electric vehicles, and renewable energy, demand for it has skyrocketed, sparking investor interest. Among the holdings are copper miners from the US, Japan, Canada, Australia, China, and many other countries, so there's global exposure here. In January 2026, the ETF attracted $115 million in inflows. This fund charges investors 65 basis points per year in management fees, translating to about $65 annually on a $10,000 investment. This is quite a bit higher than many of the other funds that we're looking at in this list. It also manages $700 million in capital, and dividends are paid half yearly. These are generally unfranked, and the yield is below 1%. Because the ETF is concentrated in one commodity and one sector, its performance can be more volatile than broad market ETFs. However, For investors looking to gain targeted exposure to copper and the global mining industry, this fund offers a simple way to do it in a single trade. In sixth, we have Australia's most popular dividend fund, Vanguard Australian Shares High Yield ETF, ticker VHY. This ETF gives investors exposure to high dividend companies listed on the Australian stock market. Instead of simply tracking the largest companies like some broad ASX ETFs do, VHY specifically focuses on Australian companies that pay above average dividend yield. These tend to include major banks, telecommunication companies, and other blue chip companies that often return profits to shareholders. In January 2026, the ETF attracted $119 million in inflows, so there are lots of Aussies that make dividends a priority for their portfolios. The fund charges investors 25 basis points per year in management fees, translating to $25 annually on a $10,000 investment. In total, VHY has $7 billion invested, making it Australia's 8th largest ETF. In terms of the dividends themselves, VHY pays out quarterly, with a yield of around 7% and fairly decent franking credits from the portfolio companies. Because the fund tilts towards income-producing companies, it is pretty concentrated in just a few highly profitable sectors. The largest of these is the financials. However, for investors looking to generate steady dividend income from Australian shares, VHY has become a popular option. In fifth spot is Australia's most popular S&P 500 fund, the iShares S&P 500 ETF, ticker IVV. This ETF gives investors exposure to the 500 largest companies listed in the United States, tracking the well-known S&P 500 index. Instead of trying to pick individual US shares, investors buying IVV are effectively purchasing a slice of the American economy in a single trade. That means owning global giants like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Nvidia, which all sit in the S&P 500. This index also acts as a benchmark for how the US economy is doing, so it's no surprise to see a fund like this ranking so high. In January 2026, the ETF attracted $134 million in inflows, and overall, the fund is Australia's third largest with over $11 billion invested. The fund charges investors just 4 basis points per year in management fees, translating to $4 on a $10,000 investment. So this is one of the cheapest ways to invest in US shares. The fund also pays dividends quarterly, equating to a yield of about 1%. Over the long term, the S&P 500 has delivered strong returns, driven largely by the growth of the large American tech firms. The fourth most popular fund is BetaShares Global Shares ETF, ticker BGBL. This ETF offers exposure to broad global shares excluding Australia. Instead of focusing on a single country like the US, BGBL spreads investments across companies in North America, Europe, and parts of Asia, allowing investors to own thousands of businesses from around the world in a single trade. As most of the world's largest companies are listed in the US, it's not surprising to see 70% of the funds are invested there. In January 2026, the ETF attracted $187 million in inflows, showing strong demand from investors looking to diversify beyond the Australian market. The fund charges investors 8 basis points per year in management fees, translating to about $8 annually on $10,000 investments. BGBL has quickly grown to manage over $3.5 billion and pays dividends half yearly. This tends to be on the lower side, around 1% or 2% each year. In the bronze position, we have BetaShares' most popular ETF, the Australia 200 ETF, ticker A200. The investment focus on this fund is the same as IOZ that we just looked at earlier. Again, this fund invests in the 200 largest companies on the Australian stock market. The fund charges investors just 4 basis points per year in management fees, while IOZ charges 5 basis points, which could explain why this fund ranks higher. A200 manages $9.2 billion in assets, making it Australia's 4th largest ETF. In January 2026, the ETF attracted $218 million in inflows. It pays dividends quarterly, typically yielding around 3% a year plus franking credits. In the silver position, we have a fund that many would have expected in the top spot, and that's Vanguard's Australian Shares Index ETF, ticker VAS. This ETF gives investors exposure to the 300 largest companies listed on the Australian stock market. It's like the ETF we just looked at, but instead of the top 200 companies, it's the top 300. In January 2026, the ETF attracted $316 million in inflows. Despite only being the second most popular fund in 2026, it's actually the largest ETF by a long shot with over $24 billion in assets. The fund charges investors 7 basis points per year in management fees, translating to about $7 annually on a $10,000 investment. The fund pays dividends quarterly, roughly equating to a yield of 3% 10% plus franking credits. And finally, with a gold medal, we have Vanguard's International Shares ETF, ticker VGS. This is Vanguard's second largest fund with $14 billion in assets, and surprisingly, investors are favoring this over VAS in 2026. The ETF offers access to a broad portfolio of global shares from developed markets, excluding Australia. So essentially, it's Vanguard's version of the BGBL fund we looked at earlier. Similarly, this fund is also concentrated in the United States, both by region and largest holdings. In January 2026, the ETF attracted a whopping $361 million in inflows. The fund charges investors 18 basis points per year in management fees, translating to $18 on a $10,000 investment. The fund pays dividends quarterly, equating to a yield of roughly 2.5%. So investors looking to build a broad, globally diversified portfolio alongside Australian shares, VGS has become one of the most widely used international ETFs on the ASX. So that rounds out the list of Australia's most popular ETFs in 2026 so far. Let me know down below in the comments if any of these ETFs surprised you by making the list. Everything here is general in nature and not financial advice. Always consider your personal circumstances or speak to a qualified advisor before making any investment decisions. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I've posted over 250 videos showing Australian and Kiwi investors how to grow their wealth through stocks, dividends, home ownership, and many others. Also, make sure to check out Investing Pro and get this amazing tool for 55% off, plus an extra 15% discount by using my code Brent. It's incredible for finding stocks, analyzing companies, and spending a lot less time scanning for investment options. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to catching you on the next one. Cheers.